That Show, starring Joan Rivers. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Joan!
Today we're discussing dreams and the interpretation of what do dreams mean. And we have with us a very noted psychiatrist, Dr. Harry Gershman, and Rita Moreno. And Edgar used to dream when he was single, but he doesn't dream at all now that he's married, because every time I see a smile on his face, I wake him up, you know? But I have very good... No, a wife is going to lie there and watch that? I have terrific dreams, though. My dreams are so good they come with popcorn. But, thank you. Psychiatrists claim, which we'll discuss. Does everyone here think they dream? Does anyone say they don't dream? Just out of curiosity. Who says they don't dream? Because some people claim they don't. Who dreams in color? You're supposed to. Who dreams in black and white? Okay. Bunch of winners. All right. Psychiatrists claim, though, that everybody dreams. And my cousin Hubie, he's a real hippie. And he likes to dream things like he's a light switch so he can be turned on every night. Oh. He used to have great dreams when he was taking LSD. I guess it's what you call, like, in-flight movies. But, my cousin... Yes, same girl, the only bright one in the audience today. But my cousin Shirley, I don't want to tell you what she dreams about. But let me put it this way. Every time she dreams, she wakes up in the morning, she washes her own eyes out with soap. But, yes, thank you. No, don't applaud in the back. It's too late. When you see this show on television, you'll watch me bleed to death. But, Edgar found out, and I found out that dreams really reflect your desires. I don't know if you're aware of this. The other night, for example, I was dreaming that I was Raquel Welch, which was great, so I found out Edgar was dreaming the same thing. But, because they pressed the applause sign to mock me. But the best dream Edgar ever had, though, once he dreamed he was all alone, stuck on a South Sea island with Sophia Loren. Isn't that a terrific dream? Terrible. Terrific. Terrible. That's why they're not laughing. All right? I'll try you. Edgar once had a great dream. He dreamt he was all alone on a South Sea island, stuck with Sophia Loren. Isn't that a great dream? Great. Great. You're wrong. It was terrible, because he also dreamed he was Sophia Loren's twin sister. To discuss dreams, we decided to get an expert on dreams, and as Freud is dead, we took second best. We took Dr. Harry Gershman, who's a practicing psychiatrist and psychoanalyst in New York, and he is the dean of the American Institute of Psychoanalysis. Very nice to have you. And to discuss dreams with me, we got ourselves a movie star, which always gets me very excited. She's the Academy Award-winning motion picture star, and she's now currently starring in The Little Sister and Poppy, and it's Miss Rita Moreno. Oops. And do you dream? First of all, half the audience wouldn't answer.
Yes, you know, I was listening to you before. I've dreamt in color.
I always dream in color.
You always do?
Always dream in color. Well. Now, what does that mean? Don't people dream always in color, or...
Creative people generally tend to dream more in color than people who are not creative.
But everyone dream... Can you have both color and black and white?
Yes. But I think a relatively small percentage of people dream in color.
Because I never knew that people didn't dream in color until Edgar said to me, sometimes he dreams in black and white. I thought, how dull, you know.
Isn't that funny? I really can't understand why people would even dream in black and white anyway, because the way we see things are in color.
Yes. Well, they don't choose.
Yeah.
That's how they dream.
But it's such an odd choice, really, isn't it?
Oh, that's why. Who needs it?
We accept it, but it's odd.
Yeah,
it's much more fun to dream in color.
First of all, you got all the outfits you can look at. You know. Can I ask you, Doctor, we're all so steeped in all the Freudian aspects that dreams are sexual symbols going there, and it's all wish fulfillment. Is this still so prevalent, all these concepts today, or are they kind of broadening out?
No, I represent a school that deviates from Freud. We recognize that Freud was a great genius and has contributed our understanding of human beings, but his emphasis on sexual impulses and instincts as the basis of our personality we do not accept entirely.
You mean it doesn't all stem from sexual desires and or deprivations?
That's right.
No longer. Because it makes sense to me.
To me, because, I mean, I'm sure sex motivates a lot of us, but, you know, also there's hunger, every now and again, and thirst, and other basic things.
A pretty dress.
I dream about things like that. What do you have, like, wish fulfillment dreams that you know about, Rita? Like some of them, like,
Oh,
obvious things?
I've had, well, you know, I was in therapy a number of years ago. For a number of years, I was in psychotherapy. So, of course, I became very dream conscious, and I got to the point where I remembered the tiniest details simply out of constantly having to relate them. And, I had wish fulfillment dreams, you know, things that I wished would happen. Then, of course, I had the anxiety dreams, as everybody has.
Yeah. Because you wake up, but, you know, the thing is, which is, we're all such amateur psychiatrists today, because everyone gets the little smattering of psychology and psychiatry, and you wake up and say, well, I know what that dream meant. That really means that I hate my dog, you know, you get yourself crazy with these kind of dreams. Like, you know, I had the dog, and the dog was run over, you know, so that means I hate the dog. But what I want to ask you, Doctor, like, isn't it dangerous to try to analyze your own dreams?
Well, I don't know if it's dangerous, but I don't think the interpretation we put on them are necessarily correct. The notion that symbols have the same meaning, that you could buy a book and translate symbols into the meaning of your dream, just is not correct. The identical dream had by 10 people might mean 10 different things.
Because it depends on the personality of the person, right?
So that's completely then going against Freud, because Freud, remember, he said a snake means this, and this means that, and water means that. You know, you get crazy. I'm always in a boat somewhere. I think, that's, you know.
You're a very sexy lady, admit it.
Either that or the bathtub's overflowing somewhere. You know? Because environment must. Oh no, come on, it's not worth it. When my leg goes up, then you're poor. Then you're poor. Can I ask you something? Why does, like Rita said, she was in analysis and she remembered her dreams. Why is it so important?
Well, you see, when we go to sleep, we are by ourselves, and the need to wear the pretenses that all of us have in social life are not necessary. So that in dreams, we are more truthful to ourselves, and we express our feelings more accurately. And therefore, I think what Freud once said, that the dream is the royal road to the unconscious, is true. What is not true is that that road is only a sexual road.
Yeah.
Why then do you suppose, I'm just asking layman's questions.
As I am too.
Why then do you suppose, do we have to, in our dreams, why does it seem to be so dire and necessary to disguise things in our dreams?
Well, you see, you just, again, put an emphasis on a point where we differ with Freud on the interpretation of dreams. We don't see the dream as a disguising mechanism. I think in our dreams we often express more nakedly the truth of our feelings and of our being than at any other time.
You mean it's so naked and so blunt and bare that we don't recognize it because of that?
That could be. But the principle that the dream disguises and hides things, we do not accept.
What about a recurring dream? I'm sorry, go ahead, Rita.
No, I just had this question. Well, then why do we sometimes have a dream that seems innocuous and yet wake up very anxious?
Well...
Answer that
one.
Oh, boy, now you got me.
Now, you know what I mean. We do. I mean,
you wake up upset in the morning.
Right,
you
wake up upset and you say, well, what did I dream of? Well, I just dreamt of walking down the street and passing a dog and a car horn honked, and that made me anxious.
Yes,
now
who's in the car?
Oh, he's sneaky.
All right,
that does make sense.
The point I want to make is I'm not suggesting that dreams can be interpreted on its manifest level. I mean, just what the dream says it means. The dream is a collection of symbols. Now, what these symbols stands for depends on the dreamer who has
I
that.
Understand.
And we can only determine that from the dreamer and his associations.
I understand.
May I say, why do people have recurrent dreams?
Generally, a recurrent dream relates to some conflict that the person cannot resolve. Conflict, let's say, with his mother or his wife or his brother or within himself. And since it's not resolved, it keeps coming up again.
But
and
is
again.
that kind of like a relief for them then?
Yes, I think every dream is calculated to relieve tension and to help solve the problem.
I read somewhere, I don't know where, so I always say the Reader's Digest, because to me that's like a joke, you know, ha ha, read in the Reader's Digest. I read somewhere that your college kids, that dreaming is absolutely necessary for your sanity. And what they did, they put these, I don't know if you know about this experiment, they put them to sleep, and for 3 nights in a row, every time they started to dream, they woke them up. Then they let them go to sleep, and they could sleep until they started dreaming, then they woke them up. And they were getting very strange by the 3rd night, and they realized that if you don't dream, you have no outlet.
That's right. That's very true. I think recent research has shown that to dream is absolutely necessary. You know, Freud's original thesis was that the dream preserves sleep, that instead of acting on an impulse, you have a dream, and it's fulfilled, and you keep on sleeping. Recent research seems to have reversed that actually we sleep in order to dream, that to dream is more important than sleep. And if you interrupt the dreaming mechanism, you get all sorts of tension states. I think several years ago, a disc jockey was kept awake for about 10 or 11 days.
Yes.
And at the end of that time, he was hallucinating, and he was what we call psychotic, because he was deprived of dreaming.
Not sleeping.
Not sleeping, the dreaming. Now, the interesting thing on those subjects where they have prevented dreaming, after the period is over and they were permitted to dream, they dreamt twice as much as though to make up for the dreaming that they didn't have and being wakened up.
We'll be right back. There's a commercial coming up. So we'll discuss more about dreaming, also whether dreams can foretell the future, which I believe in, after this message. We're back talking with Dr. Harry Gershman and Rita Moreno, and we were talking about dreams being very lifelike during the commercial, and you said...
Oh, I had a wild dream. It's when my little baby girl was just about 1 month old, and I was being a brand new mother and my first baby, very anxious about her safety and her welfare. And I was staying at my mother's house with the baby. And I heard in my dream there was, in fact, outside there were 2 cats fighting. And you know the awful sound they make. I incorporated it into some dream, and I saw in the dream a cat jump on top of my baby and start to attack her, and you know, these awful meows. Well, for the first and only time in my life, I carried it out into real life. I screamed like a banshee and ran like a shot to the baby, still convinced while I was running that there was a cat attacking my baby. Of course, there wasn't. But that's never happened to me before, and it was so real. Wow. What do you think of that? What's to think? It's really
Put down
obvious.
$20, he's going to tell you. There's
$20?
Oh, I don't know,
That was
doctor.
10 years ago.
Well, it shows not an
Oh,
analysis.
doctor.
But what does it, when a dream is that lifelike?
Vivid.
Well, it's very difficult to interpret dreams without knowing the
course.
background. But
You don't know the person.
From the little you've said, I think it's related to your concern and apprehension about the care of the baby.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I was in fact, the first 3 months, being one of those new mothers, I was very
And
apprehensive.
as you say, the sounds of the cats fighting outside
Yeah.
probably was the stimulus for the form that this dream took.
Yes. Oh,
But
golly.
the essence of the dream is your concern and apprehension about taking care of the baby adequately.
That's right. About my insecurity, right? About taking care
And
of the
worrying
baby
about the whole,
properly.
which is the same thing last night, where I just said I dreamed that the baby was in, just to repeat, because we were talking during the commercial, I dreamed that Melissa, my little girl, was in bed with us, and I woke my husband up and said, like, don't roll over on the baby. And the whole thing's you worry, you know, because she's in the other room in the crib, and she's getting big enough now to climb out. And I'm always, like, sleeping and listening, you know.
How old is yours?
11 months and very busy with everything, you know. This is the age, don't put me in any kind of space.
I have a 2-year-old.
Furious to be locked away in the crib. What are you doing to me? May I ask you, doctor, from my old family, we always get these things like cousin Sasha in Russia was sleeping, right? And cousin Munya ran in the dream and said, wake up, they're stealing the furs. And he woke up and there were 6 peasants stealing the furs. And do dreams in any sense foretell? Do you believe in any of this kind of thing?
Yes, I do.
Oh!
I had a feeling he would. You
so
said
nervous.
he wouldn't.
Well, I don't want to go overboard. I'm not a mystic or a spiritualist, but I think enough dreams have occurred over the years with absolute veracity as to pose no doubt that in some people they have prophetic dreams, and that what they dream actually takes place.
Would you then, may I ask, carry that over into waking life? I don't know what else to call it.
Yes, I think that's part of the whole telepathic extrasensory perception.
That's it, because, you know, I was reading Bishop Pike's book, The Other Side, which tells about his son, whom he claims to have spoken to from the other side. And Pike does say one very interesting thing, even for the non-believers. He does say something that you're saying, which is that too much has happened, too many things have been verified for people to just still sit and doubt without at least examining, you know, what is going on.
But couldn't some of this be like with dreams where, like as I said, they're stealing the furs, that maybe Munya was worried they were going to steal the furs, and then he woke up. But, you know, a lot of things you always say, well, could be coincidental, too.
Oh, yes, I'm sure much of it is coincidental. But I might tell you that recent research at Maimonides Hospital in the Dream Laboratory,
There are no coincidences.
they have actually had people project certain thoughts on a subject in another room who was sleeping. And when awakened from the dream, dreamt precisely what was being projected.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's done on a scientific basis, and there's no question that it does happen. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody can receive the dreams or project these thoughts.
It's the same thing with ESP. Some people have it and some people don't have it.
Yeah. Oh, that's extraordinary. This is right here in New York.
Right
They're working on all.
Do they have a dream lab there?
Yes, they do.
Are you involved in their experiments?
No, but a very good friend of mine is in charge of it, Dr. Ullman.
And what are they hoping to prove? Like, you talk about like a dream lab. What do they hope to find with these things, that they can influence men's minds?
Well, no, they're trying to find out more truth about dreaming. And if there is something to telepathic phenomena and dream transmission, we want to know about it in the service of truth of science.
Everybody dreams, right?
Everybody dreams,
Even
yes.
infants?
Well, I imagine it's more primitive, but we have physiological tests of determining when the person is dreaming. And it has been shown that everybody dreams at least 20% of his sleeping time.
Has that been done with infants also, by any chance?
Well, with infants, there are these physiological changes suggesting cortical activity.
Yeah.
Whether
they're dreaming or not, of course, we have no way of telling.
What about nightmares in the old basic sense that you got scared?
Right.
And I used to have, when I was a child, that a train was coming, you know, a big train was coming to the room. I used to wake up just very upset. And there was the train, because we were in the IRT station at the time.
Well, I think
you know, go on, I didn't interrupt you.
I'm sorry. Well, a nightmare is just an intense anxiety dream. And as I said before...
With less symbols.
It's related to conflict, which the person can't resolve.
Yeah.
The child or any age group.
Well, I was delighted. I had a nightmare the other day, but it was, I thought, a positive one, because you know how so often you hear people tell about, I tried to run away, but I couldn't, or I tried to yell, like, I yelled my brains out. I screamed, and the assailant went away. That was marvelous. That's great.
Yeah, because usually you have these things where you're in water and you can't get away fast enough. We'll be right back, so don't move. We're back talking with Dr. Harry Gershman and Rita Moreno, and I'm just talking about happy dreams. And I just sometimes I wake up and, I've had such a good dream, and you're awake. Like the alarm goes off, I reset it for another half hour, whoops, I go right back to sleep again. Is that possible, or am I just deluding myself?
No, I think many people try to get back into a dream that's pleasant.
I've done it.
And helpful.
Yeah. In fact, I willed myself to dream funny names once, because once I woke up laughing because I had dreamed of a funny name, a stripper named Trusty Cornett. Really? And I thought, I've got to try from now on, and I willed myself to dream 2 more funny names after that. One was Enjoy Comfort. And I can't remember the other one.
I worked with her. What about the bad things? Like you hear all kinds of silly things about dreams. You dream one, if you fall, you will never hit the ground. That's one that was told to me. And other ones, nobody can ever dream they're dying. Or that if you die in your dream, that means... I'm sure you get all these kind of superstitions.
It sounds like Sasha.
Yeah, Sasha thought of that. But neither one of these has any validity that you know of?
Well, the assumption is that one cannot dream anything that they have never experienced, and therefore cannot experience dying. I don't think it's true. I've had many patients dream that they're dying, they're at their funeral, and so on.
Lousy flowers. I'd be going around checking the cards. That's what they said.
Who came to the
Yeah,
funeral?
exactly. But isn't it like isn't it bad? Like, say you dream you're dead. Now, if I dreamed I did, I'd wake up in the morning and say to myself, all right, now that means that I was very unhappy or that I'm overworked. Isn't that dangerous to interpret for yourself?
I think it's very dangerous, and I think this should be emphasized. Dreams should not be interpreted without a thorough knowledge of the person. I think as an analyst, we cannot interpret dream until we get to know the person very well. And for somebody to witness this program or any other program and begin to interpret their own dreams can only lead to disappointment and inaccuracies. I think dream interpretation is a scientific skill that belongs to somebody who does that repeatedly. And not to read into the dream any dire prognostications or predictions, because that's probably incorrect.
I once was going out with a boyfriend, and just to wind it up because we're going quickly, I read the autobiography of Freud, the whole 2 volumes. I said, all right, I'll fix you up. Michael, tell me your dreams. 2 days he told me his dreams. I stopped going out with him. I got so nervous, hammering and nails, and I forget it. I didn't even look it up in the book. On that happy note, we're all going to go back to sleep now. I want to thank Dr. Harry Gershman. Just a pleasure. And Rita Moreno, you're a delight to have on.
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure for me.
A fan of yours, and it's nice to have you come on and meet you. And I'll speak to you tomorrow, so write me to me.
If you'd like to see the show when you're in New York, write Joan Rivers tickets, Box 850, Radio City Station, New York, 10019. Miss Rivers' guests stay at the Hotel Commodore while in New York.